guys and gals, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming, and some of you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you to the Let's Play episode of Temptation's Ballad. So, y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go! Alright. And y'all, the Patreon is almost done. I got the tiers being worked on, with the Discord server is just about ready. We're getting possibly some merch verified via Patreon. Y'all, we are going to be kicking it into overdrive for Drakewing Gaming real soon. Because my partner is helping me with the channel, and we're going to go far, y'all. We're going to go far. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right back in. You're able to control illusions, trickery, and detection spells well above the skill set of the average bard. The demon's eyes glowed red as he grinned with excitement. And thus, I gift you the ability to cast Detect Thoughts, Detect Magic, and Ghostly Gaze. And of course, to boost your illusion abilities, too. Cole flicked his wrist experimentally. Sparks of arcane magic danced between his fingers. That's it? No fireballs or anything? It's a free trial. You get what you pay for. Not that it'd make any difference, honestly. Your body's completely incompatible with offensive spellcasting. It's very strange, almost like you're built differently compared to other mortals. Cole sighed and slumped back in his chair. I'll take what I can get, I guess. This says Ghostly Gaze should come in handy. I'm still intrigued about how you describe that Knight Commander. Why is that a thing for bears? The shop door suddenly swung open. Cole and Malice immediately dove behind the counter in mutual panic. Nobody was supposed to come in here! Cole cleared his throat and gave his best impression of an old man's voice. Sorry, bud, but we're closed. Didn't you see the sign? The visitor did not answer. There was a pause before the front door was slammed closed. Oh. Up to your old tricks again, I see. Cole felt his blood run cold. Slowly, he stood up from behind the counter to find himself face to face with the venomous Clyde. Hey, buddy. Aren't you supposed to be at that tournament right now? The tiger's sharp gaze pierced through him like a knife. You're not as clever as you think, and I refuse to fall for another one of your schemes. That's not... Look, I can explain. I don't want to hear it. Every time I lend you the tiniest ounce of trust, you always manage to stab me in the back somehow. Like a few days ago where you cast Charm Person on me while I had my guard down. What? You were supposed to remember? Oh, but I did. Tiger growled. I've been giving you the benefit of the doubt for too long, Colladite Bonebreaker. You're like a poison, ruining lives wherever you go, and I need you gone. I'm sorry, Clyde. I really am. I just wanted to make it up to you somehow. Cole's chest lurched painfully as Clyde stepped closer. His cold eyes peered down at him with disgust. Heavy silence hung in the air before the tiger let out a tired sigh. I didn't want it to come to this either, Cole, but I think it'd be best if we parted ways. For both our sakes. Cole hung his head low. Yeah, I know. Clyde paused before taking a deep breath. Listen, if you really want to make it up to me, I have a small favor to ask. Cole's chest felt heavy as he stared down at the cold floor. Anything you need, just ask. I know you stole some of the rubies during that tussle at the fighting ring. I want it back. Cole's eyes widened. The ruby? Even one of those rubies would sell for a fortune. I could use that to rebuild my future. Maybe even use the money to negotiate with the blacksmithing guild. Clyde gave him a look of pained desperation. Can you do that for me? Just one favor. That's all I ask. Cole grew quiet. His friend's face was a pained mix of defeat and desperate hopefulness. If all he needed was one more favor, how could he possibly deny him? Cole hesitated for a moment before slowly reaching down towards Malice hiding behind the counter. The demon's voice suddenly echoed through their mind link with utter disbelief. You can't possibly be serious! Just turn back into a ruby, Malice. You'd give me up to someone else just like that? I won't accept this. You are my puny mortal, damn it. I refuse to be passed on to anyone else. Come on, Malice. For me... For a moment, he could feel the tiny snake tremble in his grip. Clyde suddenly spoke up, startling two out of their exchange. What's the matter? You have any second thoughts? No, I was just rummaging through my pockets. One moment. There was a small moment of hesitation between the two of them. Cole's heart sank as he felt Malice silently curled up and transformed into a cold gem in his grasp. He lifted his hand over the counter to reveal a dark, blood-red ruby. Clyde stared at it with a mix of fascination and suspicion. The tiger cautiously reached for it. I appreciate it, Coleslaw. Just hope you're not trying to pull one of your illusion switcheroos like you did back at the fighting ring. I'm not. I sincerely want to help you. Cole suddenly froze. He took a step back and glared, clutching the ruby close to his chest. Clyde looked taken aback before letting out a low growl. What are you up to? I've got a better question. Who are you? In a split moment that, despite the tiger's attempt to hide it, his face betrayed the smallest hint of surprise and guilt. It was all the confirmation Cole needed. I knew something felt off. How do you know about my little illusion switcheroos? The real Clyde was unconscious in his office the first time he used that trick in the fighting ring. Second, y'all. Water time. Come on, bottle. Open. Okay. And during the second time, he was busy wrestling Sid in the hallway. His only exposure to my magic was the charmed person that you supposedly remember. The tiger began clumsily stumbling over his words as he tried to regain his footing. The other folks in the fighting ring told me about it. They were all being mind-controlled with no memory of the event. But your paladin friend sure wasn't. Now you expected me to believe that Artemis spilled my secrets? That's a real stretch. Out with it, asshole. Who are you? Clyde's alarmed expression suddenly melted away into a look of amusement. All the tension dropped from his body language as the tiger laughed loudly. Whoops, my bad, I suppose. I'm a bit out of practice, he smirked. You asked who I am, little mortal? The tiger's body suddenly melted into a mass of black mist as he continued cackling with glee. The churning mist flickered through a myriad of familiar faces before slowly condensing into what looked like a mirror image. Cole stared in shock as his own face sneered back at him. Things took a stranger turn when a deep woman's voice rumbled from his mirror image's throat. You are not the only imposter around here, little mortal. I am Zelos the Faceless, an envy demon. Pleasure to meet you, Callidai Bonebreaker. You mind if I borrow your cute little face for a bit? I'd use my own, but I don't have one. The drawbacks of being an envy demon, I suppose. Cole gaped silently at his own smug face. This felt too surreal. The ruby in his grip suddenly poofed back into a furiously hissing python. Malice glared at the imposter with utter annoyance. Zell, what in the world do you think you're doing? What is that weird worm you got there? Wait, is that Malice? The doppelganger cackled wildly. What is that ridiculous form? Oh, my dear baby brother, did you mess up the landing while we traveled to the material plane? I told you took your wings and we made the jump. Malice spluttered indignantly. I'll have you know that I'm in this form, on purpose. Yes, I am simply blending in with the locals, you see. Zelos squinted at the little snake dubiously. Right. And how much negative emotions have you managed to collect with this little strategy of yours? It's a work in progress. I've taken up our dear brother's approach of quality over quantity. This puny mortal is full of delicious insecurities. I will coax quality emotions out of him yet. Zelos eyed Cole like one might eye slightly moldy food. This one? You haven't even made a pact with him yet, have you? I'm a temptation demon, dear sister. My prey requires time and effort to convert of their own free will, like your shallow little dalliances. Sure. I hate to break it to you, little brother, but I've come to ruin your little fun. The imposter's expression suddenly turned into a sinister leer. As much as I loathe working with my siblings, my pact partner wants another demon at their disposal. Malice, you're coming with me. Sever your ties to this useless mortal and come along with your big sister. Malice hissed and coiled around Cole's arm possessively. Absolutely not! This one is mine! Zelos wrinkled her nose. Don't get attached to mortals, Malice. You are an infernal demon. Timeless. These mortals wither and die at the drop of a hat. Hardly worth the effort. Speaking of which, the temperature in the shop abruptly dropped to a biting cold. A sinister glow filled in Zelos' eyes as she turned towards Cole. Callidai Bonebreaker, was it? You are quite lucky. Under most circumstances, I would have just slaughtered you outright and plucked my brother from your cold, dead hands. Alas, my pact partner has taken interest in you for some reason and asked me not to kill you. Pact partner? This one! You know, the one you had a little tussle with a few days ago? Cole watched wide-eyed as the demon reached up to grasp the edge of her hood. Oh. Little did you know that their real identity is actually... Boo! Ha! You didn't think I'd actually tell you, right? Second, y'all. Water time. Man, this is wild. Cole felt a little sick. The sight of a headless woman cackling wildly was disturbing, to say the least. He could hear the sneer in her voice as she faced him. Anyway, my pact partner doesn't want you dead for whatever reason. However, it's been a while and my hand might accidentally slip. Hand over my little brother and you may walk out of here alive. Resist and I crush you into a bloody pulp. Understood? Cole took a step back, eyes darting around the shop for an escape route. Well, Malice and I have this weird mind link thing going on. If you kill me, your little brother's gonna die too. Little snorted, she put her hood back up. What part of being immortal don't you understand? Sure, Malice might end up becoming a puddle of black mush that I have to scrape off the floor, but he'll reform eventually. You, on the other hand, have no such luxury. So what will it be? Cole gulped and gritted his teeth. He silently reached out towards Malice and their mental mind link. She can't be serious, can she? I'm not sure if you've noticed yet, but my sister's a bit of a bitch. I've heard of squabbling siblings, but she's really okay with outright killing you? We are immortals. This is kind of the demonic equivalent of a fussy mother insisting you change out of your old clothes. Your fleshy, fragile body's a clothing in this metaphor. Cole took another step back, digging a hand through his pockets. So what you're saying is that if I don't get out of here, I will absolutely die. As much as I'd hate to admit. Even if you formed a true pact with me right now, we'd have nowhere near the strength to oppose my sister. I hope you have some clever tricks up your sleeves, puny mortal. Are you two done with your little mental rambling? I'm not a very patient woman. Phyllis's sharp voice cut through their exchange like a knife. Her imposing figure approached, the biting cold air of the shop growing more painful with every step. So what will it be, boys? Will you make the smart decision, or will I have to scrape you off the floor? Think fast! Oh! A blinding shockwave knocked Zealous off her feet and tossed her against the shop walls. The air was thick with the sound of lightning, broken wood, and shattered glass. After a moment, her vision returned along with a harsh ringing in her ears. She snarled and struggled to pick herself off the floor. The place was demolished. Zealous lifted her head up just in time to catch Cole leaping through the wreckage and escaping through the hole in the wall. She snarled and flicked her wrist in his direction. A slender flash of arcane light erupted from her hand and struck the hyena in the back of the neck as he darted down the street. Cole stumbled for a moment, a hand grasping painfully at the spot where he was hit. After I beat, the hyena regained his footing and continued his mad dash to safety. Those watched her prey disappear in the busy crowd with an amused sneer. It's been so long since I've had a good hunt in the material plane. Run, little mortal. Make this fun for me, won't you? Oh dear. The back of his neck was a mass of searing pain as Cole scrambled down the street. He pressed a hand against it gingerly. It hurt, but it didn't feel like it broke skin or was too serious. Cole shook his head and dove in the nearest crowd he could find. Maybe a passing adventurer or city watch could get him to safety, or at least help him fend off the demon chasing him. He opened his mouth to beg for help, but no sound came out. The coppery taste of blood suddenly gurgled up from the back of his throat. The people surrounding him in the crowd were too busy with their own festival activities to notice his plight. He coughed and rasped, trying to at least catch someone's attention with a shout, but couldn't muster out a single word. Was this some sort of silencing spell? Cole swallowed and panted breathlessly. The demon was trying to prevent him from getting help. Well, if yelling into the crowd wasn't an option... He glanced around and ran towards the nearest arcane tower on the street, pressing his hand against the cold crystal. He surged his magic to try and trigger the alarm spell. Huh? No response? He tried smacking the crystal instead, but no luck. Look at y'all. Water time. So much for state-of-the-art security. Cole felt Malice writhe uncomfortably in his pocket, clearly trying to deal with the pain he felt through their mind link. I could smell the stink of my sister's magic in this crystal. I think she's tampered with it somehow. You better be careful, puny mortal. There's something weird about that spell she hit you with. Cole glanced around the jam-packed street and towards Soul's shop in the distance. This was the nearest crystal to the shop, but no alarms were set off from this little explosion with the Artemis Thunderwave crystal. She must have disabled most of the nearby security before coming to find me. Cole growled and pushed his way further down the street. Fine then. She couldn't have tampered with all of them. Let's try the crystals set up further away. In his thick crowd, he had no idea if Zealous was pursuing him, but he'd best put some distance between himself and the shop. Even if she was a demon, she wouldn't dare start a fight in the middle of this crowded place. The tournament arena was just a short walk away. He should try to reunite with Artemis and Sid, or hopefully run into a church knight or city watch on his way there. Ah! His left shoulder suddenly exploded with a burst of white-hot pain. Cole felt his vision blur and a spray of warmth spilled down his arm. His mouth was agape in an agonizing scream, but no sound came out. He sucked in a deep breath and pressed a hand against the raw wound. It burned. Was this an acid arrow? He didn't see where it came from, but to think the demon could land such a clean shot in this crowd. Oh, shit. Cole let out a loud rasp. He could manage... the loudest rasp he could manage and grab the hem of a passing merchant. Please, some help. Anyone! Oh, I'm gonna pause it right there, y'all. Oh, man, this is getting wild. Cole, you are in some serious shit now. Oh my god. How's Cole gonna get out of this, folks? I don't know. Stay tuned for the next time when we jump right back into Temptations Ballad. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribing, that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.